Previously, we started a series on the basics of estate planning and drafting of wills. Our guest, fiduciary specialist Refilwe Mogwe, was of the professional view that it is of paramount importance to have a living will to make sure that the beneficiaries to one's estate do not go through a protracted and unnecessarily messy process of distributing your assets in the event of death. Additionally, she said a will is especially important to have in place for people who have minor children, as it would clearly stipulate how these children should be taken care of and by whom. Refilwe is on First Issues again, where we get into the details of how to go about starting to draft a will. First on the list is gather the essentials, a very loaded statement that she unpacks. Refilwe, thank you so much for coming back on First Issues and affording us your time. We're continuing our estates planning and drafting of wills conversation, but now we're honing into the important steps to take when you're drafting a will, which was the last part of our last conversation, right? So let's start here. The first point is to gather the essentials. What does that mean?
Gathering the essentials means just appreciate what kind of risks come with me being me, if I'm to put it simply. What would happen in the event that I unfortunately, pass on? So gather the essentials, understand, okay, what it is that you have. I've seen instances where clients have forgotten that they bought a property, like 10 years ago when they were on a trip to, say, Maung type of situation. So just get your personal balance sheet sorted. From that, so list your assets, list your liabilities. As much as you may have insurance for these liabilities, which will cover it in the event, or cover them in the event of passing, there might be other, things that may become a liability to you when you pass on. And this is where now you need to think about what are your monthly or yearly expenses with respect to maintenance of assets such as houses, cars, and maintenance of individuals. If you're taking care of people like maybe your children, or maybe there's a parent that is dependent on you. Why? Because on death, these people can become creditors, like we spoke earlier, and claim against your estate. So basically that is then now when you now have an appreciation of who you are through an inventory, then appreciate, okay, if I was to die today, this is how much I would need. This is what I would need to do in terms of ensuring that there are children, there are guardians or a guardian appointed for my children. This is who I would, ensure that they do this on my behalf.
You were talking about children and having guardians for them, but then there's the instance where the children is not declared in is it your inventory, right? The people you're supposed to be taking care of. In that case, what happens? Because they are eligible to claim on the deceased estate.
So unless you were hiding these kids, or unless someone did not know that you were maintaining, so there is a way of finding out. Remember, if you're going through the Master of the High Court, there are these notices that are sent. So if maybe my dad had not declared that I'm his daughter, and I see in the newspaper that my dad has passed on. And also these things have a way of coming out. So it's very important to actually plan rather than to be planned for. Because then me coming in and claiming against my deceased parents' estate, regardless of whatever the circumstances were, it can delay the process, it can make the process expensive, and it can make it, most importantly, very painful.
Refilwe returns next time when we will be discussing how you can make the wishes on your will legal. Until then, have yourselves a pleasant evening. Good night.